Lately, I've found myself praying for things that you can't buy with money. My prayer request has been, God, give me peace of mind. Lord, take worry and anxiety away. Father, protect me. Protect me every time I leave the house. Protect my health. Protect my home. Every single one of my prayer requests have been for things that money can't buy. And I have been trying to make sense of all the various tests I've encountered, the challenges that have come to meet me head on. But then I have been reminded that Proverbs 19 verse 21 says, "Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails." So I am coming to understand that my plans will not have any success unless God governs them all.
I'd like to encourage you to be bold. Too many Christians are timid and feeble because they don't know the power and authority that they have in Jesus. But may I remind you that Luke chapter 10 verse 19 says, "I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions and to overcome all the power of the enemy. Nothing will harm you." Hold on to this verse. Hold on to this promise and let it stir your spirit. No longer should you be fearful and timid. Jesus Christ has given you authority, the authority to trample on the devil and his demons. He has given us the authority to overcome all power of the enemy. And so I simply want you to know that it is not your portion to be fearful as a child of God. It is not your portion to be a timid Christian. But Jesus Christ, the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings, has said, "I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions and to overcome all the power of the enemy. Nothing will harm you." So let this be the reason that you pray with power. Let this be the reason you pray with boldness. And here's what I want you to do. When you think of power, think of prayer. And when you think of prayer, think of power. More prayer, more power. If you want more power, pray more. Prayer binds us with God. Prayer empowers us to be able to live out Philippians 4 verse 13. "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me."
Life is full of changes and challenges, but God governs them all. We cannot do a thing without God's counsel, having approved it. So now as I begin to not just understand that it's God's plan that governs things and not my plan, I begin to have faith. I begin to have faith that if Jesus can turn the cold heart of a man who used to hunt Christians, if he can turn Saul, the persecutor, to Paul the apostle, then he can change me from being weak in my mind to being strong. He can change me from being just someone on this earth to become someone significant for his kingdom. I begin to have faith because if Jesus discovered a woman at the well and then gave her living water, then he can do it for me too. He can give me more faith instead of fear. He can give me more peace instead of worry, more joy instead of sadness. If Jesus can feel the touch of a desperate believer on the hem of his garment, then surely he can feel my pain. He can feel the weight that I am carrying. God has a plan for your life and a plan for my life. We can abide by his plan, or we can try and go against it and do what we want to do. The problem with doing our own thing or following our own plan is that we will have to face the consequences. And I would rather follow God's plan than do my own thing without God's counsel. So now the question becomes, my plans or God's plans? You see, the thing about faith is we act in faith when there is no guarantee, no certainty. No one knows what kind of life a child will have, yet people continue to have children. No one can know how life with your spouse will turn out, yet we continue to have faith that our relationships will last a lifetime. And here is why it sometimes may be difficult or scary to follow God's plan. Believing in God always requires action before manifestation. Faith acts before it happens. In Exodus 14, verse 16, Moses had to lift up his rod and stretch out his hand over the sea for it to divide. He didn't get to the Red Sea, and it was already parted. It took faith and action for him to get there, and it took further action before the miracle happened. Think of the woman with the issue of blood. Did she know she would be healed? Did she know that if she pushed past the crowd, if she crawled and squeezed past everyone, why not go to touch the hand of Jesus? Why just the hem of his garment? She was close enough already. Why not run up and grab Jesus or pull on his garment to get his attention? Well, her faith knew that just the action of touching something on Jesus would be more than enough.
From the moment that we come of age and begin to know right from wrong, we begin a journey. We begin walking in either light or darkness. You see, it's either we walk in a direction that leads us to Christ, that leads us to be born again, or we simply walk according to our own accord. We begin walking either in the spirit or in the flesh. I believe the Bible talks about walking so much because if you really think about it, we are all walking one of two paths. We are either walking on the broad road or the narrow road. We're either walking by faith or we're walking by sight. And if you really think about it, we are all walking. Psalm 119, verse 105 says, "Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path."